The film narrates the journey of Larry, a former senior worker for her boss, Captain, who manages a club and engages in drug dealing. Aspiring to abandon this profession, Larry dreams of becoming a luxury designer. However, she feels trapped like a caged bird as freedom remains elusive, and her body is commoditized for a price. Captain has a soft spot for her and always reserves her for his bigger clients. After closing a drug deal, he offers her to a man for his pleasure, but the man abuses her. Having had enough, Larry seduces Captain into sleeping with her, and the next morning, while he is still asleep, she steals a hefty amount of the money he received from the deal the previous night and flees to a new town, Oyo. In Oyo, Larry, now calling herself Adire, feels incredibly happy and liberated. An agent finds her a house, but it is an ordinary house that people say is haunted and has been empty for years. The person who helped her didn't mention this, but she's just happy to have her own space. The village is conservative and tranquil, mostly occupied by families. Husbands find solace in the local bar, while wives seek solutions at the local church. Pastor Mide leads the church, but it is his wife, Chode, who truly holds the reins. Religion is black and white for Chode, with no room for mistakes. Getting pregnant before marriage or praying differently is met with cold stares and disapproving words. A young woman named Habani feels the sting of Chode's judgment after her unexpected pregnancy. Everyone at the church treats her like death, except for Chode's own daughter, Simi. Simi has a secret of her own, a secret boyfriend and a growing belly. Telling her mother is out of the question, not wanting to face the same glare Habani received. Adire fits imperfectly into her new life, experiencing new things and deriving pure joy from every experience. She decorates her new home to her taste and frequents the local bar, where she catches the attention of several men. Only Toby approaches her because he has the most game. Dressed sharply and smoking a cigarette, he assumes she is a prostitute and wants to have fun with her. Not wanting to embarrass him in front of his friends, she takes his money and pretends to have sex with him in the toilet. News of Toby's activities with the suspicious lady spreads, with many men wanting to break their marital vows for a taste of her. Even on social media and in the market, there are talks about her. Toby can't resist the charm of the bar, making it his favorite spot, not just for the drinks but also for Adire's presence. His wife, Shalewa, eventually discovers their secret rendezvous after failing to keep him at home. The women's group at the church labels Adire a prostitute after Shalewa shares her troubles with them. They see Adire as a threat to their families and decide to march to her house and drive her out of the village, with the deacon staying behind to pray. However, they all back out upon realizing it is the haunted house. Shalewa, driven by the need to save her marriage, goes alone. In fear, as she enters the house, a plate falls, drawing Adire's attention. After establishing who she is and why she has come, they exchange words. Adire calls Shalewa ugly, which was the bitter truth that had driven her husband to Adire in the first place, making Shalewa cry. Adire empathizes and consoles her, realizing her husband doesn't find her sexy anymore because of how she dresses. She gifts Shalewa lingerie and relationship advice, which works exceptionally well on Toby. Meanwhile, Captain hasn't had luck finding Adire. She continues to frequent the bar, with men continuously buying her drinks, which she exchanges for money. With his usual companion now staying home, Captain's friend has no option but to leave early. On his way, he meets Thomas, a shy man with the least game. This time, he approaches Adire and starts off incredibly bad, getting worse in the middle. This was a time waster, and she couldn't take it. However, when he talks about his late wife and how the only woman he talks to since she died is his mother, Adire feels pity for him and takes his money to show him a good time, which extends to taking him home. They have a little miscommunication because all he wanted was friendship, someone to talk to. She finds it funny because she knows men always want something, if not now, later, and it would cost her more. She suspects he might be lying about his dead wife, which he emphatically denies. She returns his money and asks him to leave, and he leaves after telling her, "I'm really sorry that you think so little of yourself that the only thing a man sees when he looks at you is to get into your bed." At the church, Shalewa couldn't contain her happiness from getting her husband back with Adire's amazing advice. She dances energetically, catching the attention of the deacon. After the service, Shalewa shares the reason for her joy and introduces others to Adire. What she didn't know was that Adire would soon become the reason for saving many broken marriages and families. Hadire's business grows with more referrals, mostly from women at the church. More sales mean more work, so she spends less time at the bar. When Thomas doesn't find her there, he comes over with suya to apologize for the way he spoke to her. She realizes that, unlike the village, which labeled her a prostitute before knowing her, he saw her differently. From then, they start something bigger than either of them. Her relationship with the women from the parish also blossoms, with them trying to get her to come to the church and leave the haunted house, which apparently had a woman killed in it, leaving a skull in her wake. Just like her, Hadire just stared at them in disbelief. Her bunny goes into labor, and most women go to support her. Chode initially refuses but, at Mide's insistence, goes with Simi. After the child is born, her bunny slowly loses consciousness and dies while Chode is busy calling for prayers. This seals Simi's decision not to keep the baby. Deji, her boyfriend, wants her to keep it, but she remains steadfast, even though she might die in the process. Either way, she's dead if her mother finds out she keeps it. During the funeral, Hadire arrives inappropriately dressed for the function because she wasn't aware of it. Chode, recognizing her, interrupts the procession to cover her up with her scarf. It is, of course, embarrassing for Hadire. This period reminds Thomas of his late wife, who suffered from bipolar disorder and died just months after giving birth to his daughter 7 years ago. This time, Hadire feels genuinely sorry for him. Captain gets a lead on Hadire when he inspects his new girls and one of them has her signature prayer. As a form of apology for his wife's behavior, Mide sends Simi to deliver eggs from his farm to Hadire. Recognizing her as the girl crying with her boyfriend one night, Hadire guesses she is pregnant. Simi confides in her for the first time, and Hadire gives her helpful advice and a warm hug that makes her decide to keep the baby. Hadire has a unique sense for problem-solving that helps the women in the community regain their voices and confidence. When Chode has a pregnancy scare, Hadire redirects her worries to her passion for cake making. The women she helped also have her back. During a Bible study, when Chode embarrasses her, they stand up for her, making Chode realize she's slowly losing her flock, with only her PA remaining by her side. Captain is closer to finding Hadire than ever. In her sleep, she dreams of her younger self being kidnapped by Captain from her parents and her failed attempts to escape. She awakens in shock to find Captain there. She begs him to let her go and offers to pay back the money she stole, but he hits her and orders her to dress in her Nigerian attire. Apparently, her escape gave him an idea to sell drugs hidden in bros she sells, thinking no security would search a woman's bosom. With the plan a go, Captain refuses to leave the town just yet. He takes Hadire to the bar with some other girls to give them a taste of what's to come. When Thomas sees them, she tries to ward him off by pretending not to know him to protect him, but he doesn't get it, and Captain hits him. His friends are also apprehended. The community immediately mobilizes for the first time in a very long time as some citizens take to the streets to retaliate. Chode blames this decadence on Hadire and her husband. While they argue, Simi can't handle their bickering and shuts them up with the news of her pregnancy. Chode slaps her before taking her to a local nurse for an abortion, refusing to listen to her husband's plea for calm. At the church, Shalewa, who just had an abortion, sees them and they all bow their heads in shame. This proves how they all fall short as believers and the realization that they fear feeling exactly how they made Habani feel. For the first time, Simi's father makes a firm decision that she keeps the baby, with conditions. His wife remains silent, releasing her grievances to the congregation. With determination in his eyes, he repeats, "Our God is a consuming fire." Hadire manages to escape and tries packing her bags to leave, but Captain fights her and puts her in a chokehold. She reaches for a pressing iron and hits him with it, although she doesn't kill him. Before she can leave, Ton throws fire into the house, muttering like an insane person.